Sam.
Hi guys.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Yeah, I
going?
agree with Eugene. Me too. Like, I've got a lot of questions, so hopefully today's session is all about it, right? We'll just discuss it in detail, uncover all the main questions that we have. So I guess we can get started. So once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We've got a lot of things to unpack from WWDC25, so this session is all about it. And I'm joined by three people who will be panelists our today's discussion. So Sam, CEO of Qonversion, Eugene, product lead at Holland and Barrett, and Alexander is a co-founder of Yeda. Yeah, Sam, I guess on that note, I'll give you the floor just to share a couple of words, and then I'll ask with get started with the first question that I have.
I'm a little bit skeptical about this webinar and about an update which happened this week because of the benefits Apple introduced for developers and for end customers. So let me be this guy who going to hate everything today. In terms of that's bullshit type of not going well with AI. They didn't introduce anything useful and for end users. So I will be in that role today. So I hope someone will be in the opposite role and will protect and will be Apple advocates. Maybe Eugene, you, and guys.
And someone neutral as well. Someone neutral. I guess
Yeah,
Alexander,
exactly.
it's gonna be you.
Yeah, I think I will go in this position today.
Yeah, sorry for deciding it for you, but yeah, unfortunately, I had no choice.
Yeah, and I also want to share if I watched a couple of sessions yesterday about updates that will impact revenue of apps. So I think we could also take part of it today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would like to just start with a very broad question. I think the question is addressed to everybody. So, what was the update that stood out the most to you? Just a general question.
For me, it was Alarm Kit, ability to do apps with alarm. It's a joke because it's tiny update, but I think 10 years ago I had a dream could there be alarms that cannot stop until you will do push-ups or you will pay for it and so on. And obviously it wasn't possible because you cannot before you won't be able to do alarms on iOS, but now they provide Alarm Kit for developers and quite easy to use. And I'm sure in September we will see some apps that will do this funny functionality that combines alarm with some quizzes you need to solve. You could pay and do alarm for your friend or whatever. So a lot of funny things.
Sam, it's your turn to hate on it. Right?
Looks like Sam already hate alarm today based on his appearance.
Sam, you're muted.
Sam, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Eugene, I see you want to add something, so go ahead.
Probably. For me, I was quite impressed with wallet updates. Because this dynamic Apple Pay button, updates about your orders, and also some small updates about that you will be finally able to add wallet passes without additional confirmation from customer side. So it will be just you have one request from the app, and then eventually going further you will be able just with one click to add all of the passes, or the passes will be downloaded to your wallet automatically. So I think from from convenient perspective, I think it's just superable. Because I'm a bit biased with wallets, and there are so many updates here, like with the license, let's say in the US. In wallet you are able, to add your license. It's actually kind of scan your passport. It will be downloaded to your app, and then eventually it will be considered as a government ID in certain organizations. Not yet in airplanes and in cross-border, but I think it will be next step. But this is just for US again, and I'm pretty impressed, with wallet division of Apple organization. I think it has a bright future going further because it is massive. So that's for me, Sam.
So we know where you are in terms of positive, neutral, or negative about these updates. So okay, gotcha. I just wanted to ask about alarm kit. So, Alex, do you see any really useful use case for end users for that kit? And for me, it could be misused misused more than be really useful for end customer, because around 90% of apps it could be some banking apps. Let's say they see some critical alerts in terms of fraud, scam, or something else, and they can send alarm and to let you know. But maybe you see something else, some useful case for our alarm kit regarding. Yeah, go ahead.
If we are not counting all these funny use cases where to wake up you need to do additional actions, even in my current application it may be appropriate, because first of all, alarm is good for like putting timer when you're baking something, food and so on. So we do recipe, and now we can provide user with a like kind of timer alarm for it. And second, the usage could be kind of because they also do countdown on lock screen, so it's not only like it's a mix up of alarm and timer, and it also could be about mindful eating, something I'm researching right now. So like to ask force user eat like 15 minutes, for example, we would put this alarm and timer for it. So even in my current application, I already see 2 use cases where it could be appropriate.
So you mean Apple protect end customers, and they can be sure that they will not skip their dinner or a breakfast or something else?
I mean, I'm sure this could be misused. Obviously, it's need permissions from a customer, and I guess there would be easy way to mute it forever. But like it's not notifications; it's different type of entitlements. But in the same time, there could be very interesting uses. But like, if not speaking about funny things, I really see how cool Apple integrates their fundamental model. It's kind of AI model where you could chat, similar to chat apps. But like there's 2 interesting things about it. First, it's working offline. So I guess it wouldn't be ideal right now, but the more iPhone would develop, more it would be. And I also know benchmarks that even if you give users the worst AI model or the best AI model, only 20% would see the difference. So for most of users, it's enough to be a tiny AI model. But what Apple even gives, they give this ability of do tooling or like structured output in just 1 line of code in Swift. So I know that this is not something that would impact ecosystem like in September or even in 1 year time, but the investment in this will impact the full market of apps a lot. So like it would redefine searches in apps, like because people will be able to search via natural language without any cost for developers, because a lot of free apps and they don't want to pay for AI infrastructure without online access. It will be work offline, so it's cool for to-do apps and so on. And with super easy, I already watched a session, integration for developers. So I see that this fundamental model and how they work with it comparing to other companies like OpenAI tooling and structural output is like very hard for developers. But Apple do it with just 1 line of code, like tool for Swift or generative output. So it's crazy how they invest there.
Yeah, yeah, probably, yeah. Like from my side, yeah, Alex, would be interesting, yeah, to hear your opinion, because I saw some responses on LinkedIn for some of my previous colleagues with this like new Apple Intelligence, let's say, like ecosystem opens to like for other developers. That's Apple, of course, yeah, they have their own guardrails, right? So tooling maybe and usage would be super simple, but they have a lot of guardrails, and not just on the prompts, so like from developer side, but also on the outputs. And eventually the response I saw like from some credible folk yeah, from our previous company, that's the output is actually sometimes also like a bit guardrailed. So eventually you'll receive not what you expect, and also the whole output could be lost, right? So you as a developer, you are not as a product like leader, whoever, like as a app developer, you do not know what's the response would look like, right? And it's hard to control. So it's interesting to hear your take.
So like there's two things. First, yeah, with LLM you cannot control output, and I think a lot of apps nowadays who use server infrastructure working well with it. So it's not something. Of course, it's required people to change their mind on output, on product analytics, even on product analytics. When you have chat, like there's no like analytics that user click or not click on the button. User gets some output and you don't know is it fulfill user or no. Second topic is like a quality of Apple models, especially because Apple not only because iPhone is not
My
very
turn.
powerful.
That's my
Okay, go on, Sam.
Anyway, I'm really impressed of these updates regarding the foundation models and language models and so on. And moreover, I'm really impressed that all this model will be available on device side. UK. But the benefits you can have using this, it's the point where we can be really skeptical, because even Apple cannot use their own model to make Siri internal apps useful and convenient for end customers, and that's mean developers. It'll be a challenge for developers to use them, and maybe all these models will be really good in English for English, but what about other languages? And so from my perspective, I saw interview with Craig and for Wall Street Journal, and Joanna is journalist. She was really rude asking this question to Craig about the Siri and about models, and really asked that the questions really straightforward. But Craig and what I think their perspective about AI, it's more long term, really long term, maybe 5 years, 10 years. But the problem is, while you go this long term doing something phenomenal, maybe your competitors like Google, OpenAI, they will release their own devices, iPhones, and so on. So Apple do the things what they did in the past, focusing on long-term opportunities. But I guess for this innovation AI, it is something different, where you need to be fast and when you need to be quick in the market instead of building long-term. And another point, we know that Apple have been working on Siri for last 10 years, and okay, they did what could for last 10 years, and we have Siri, which quite useless in comparison with ChatGPT and other tools on the market. And so yeah. Stop me, otherwise I will go ahead and hate more and
okay,
hate more.
I'll stop you.
Balance.
I fully agree that it's kind of a bet, and if like our world in 3 years' time would be totally different because of cloud AI, then this bet will not work. But at the same time, even like Siri team seems very inefficient. For example, in UX code, they introduce this kind of AI agent, and because they want to be in trends, what they even introduce ability to connect to models like Claude, OpenAI, ability to connect to any APIs that supports OpenAI scheme, which most of models, and ability to bring local models. So it's clearly that there is some teams in Apple that understands that innovations in AI field happening fast, and they even bringing tools. So there is could be a positive sign that they may introduce something to fundamental model later. So now developers will integrate API, and later they may say in 1 year time that now you could decide is it would be local API or you could just with one line code connect to Sonnet via cloud. That's it. But developers will already integrate in their apps. So for me, this kind of infrastructure to integrating is a super positive sign. While of course, how it will look like, we will see in like a couple of years.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, like probably yeah, from my perspective, it's definitely disappointing, just not to see as many updates about AI. But probably, like most of us already encountered it in the previous updates from them, last year when they announced Apple Intelligence. And then I thought I have a paid subscription for Grammarly. I thought, oh, all right, now like I will save $100 per year because it's already will be embedded in Apple. And then I checked, how it works in Apple when you have to wait, I don't know, like for 30 seconds just for them to generate just a phrase of your like thing, and eventually it's just so time consuming and so inefficient. So yeah, I just paid for another year for Grammarly. And yeah, quite surprised, not surprised, but positively, on positive way surprised they received a recent round for 1 billion. So it shows the whole market that's they like Grammarly versus this Apple Intelligence tricks. But yeah, sorry, going back to the topic, I think Apple, like even if you look at some historical decisions, let's say with Google search, right, in Safari as a default method, so they still know how to leverage their competitors within the ecosystem, and I think they're not like stupid enough to not work it in their own way. So I believe they negotiate deals so it costs them nothing, or they get more users on board because of certain like infrastructure changes or so. So yeah, they know how to do it. I'm not sure, like in long term, definitely Siri is currently under the table and it's like without many updates. And I also saw this interview with Craig. It's just a small, it's like 8 minutes, by the way. So full interview still we'll see the light. I think you're going further. But yes, Siri is not competitive enough, and nobody knows like when will it be. And also interesting to see some comments from blind community, since like as a Apple former Apple employee, I still like see some internal forums in blind, and most of the developers also kind of blame AI/ML vertical like of Siri, like for earning so much but doing so little, right? So I think internally they're also not happy with it. But yeah, I'm not sure. Apple behind, they always think long term. So I still believe in Apple as a company. So yeah, they will leverage infrastructure. Probably yeah, they will get a lot of different LLMs to connect with them. Probably I think they still will be able to manage this. Like Perplexity, for example, right? Perplexity is also kind of a combination of different LLMs with their own kind of search engine, right? So yeah, and still they are on the top. So I believe Apple will still manage this, but probably not with Siri, with like other LLMs, other engines. That would be my take probably on this. But I'm also unimpressed here with the whole thing.
So since we changed side, and now I'm in positive side. Updates. So let me balance it, because for me, this kind of redesign is obviously it's targeted customers and customer, and they need some fresh look and so on. But it's super unnecessary and may bring complexity to developers, even maybe to users, without bringing any big value.
I just my perspective is quite framed. Sure, because it's not it's my perspective, yeah. So that's why that's framed. But what I see, it's when I watched Google I/O, I was impressed by just watching 5-10 minutes. Wow. And this model, that model, this update, that update. And but while watching Apple WWDC, I really did my best to watch it until the end. And another benchmark for me is the interest around this webinar as well, WWDC live recap. Because when we do webinar, we can understand what the interest in around the topic, and is the webinar which lowest interest for our customers externally. Even we did some promotion, but anyway, so that means people not so impressed, and they if they didn't impress by watching or reading about WWDC, they don't want to know more about that, joining to this kind of webinars and expert talks and so on. So I guess there isn't any innovation in Apple paradigm and right now. So what they do, just try to be on the stream and use last technologies, integrate these technologies inside the tool and the device they have right now. But we do not see any new user interface. We do not see any new paradigm of using devices and so on. So that's why I think that Apple lose this competition, and it's just a question of time to see that on the paper when we notice that sales for iPhones will drop. I guess even for this year or maybe next year, we'll notice that. And by the way, did someone just think about that? Maybe I need to try Android after Google I/O and these updates. Really, just be honest. Maybe just once. I did for last 10 years while using iPhone, maybe 10, 12 years. That was first time when I thought that I really need to try it. Maybe switch to Android or Pixel or something else.
I can add to it. My friend has recently purchased a new Android app. Android smartphone, and he just compares it to his iPhone. It says that it basically is better in every little aspect. So, yeah, I guess it kind of proves what you are saying.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, from my perspective,
you should be positive. Yeah, John.
Yeah.
Reminder.
I think still, yeah, we need to think long term. So yeah, some short term wins doesn't mean that's Apple is still behind. So definitely, and they think long term. They see the competition, they see what works or not for others, and only after that, they added to the ecosystem or so. And it's like funny thing. Yeah, we always see it in all of the updates. Like we invented something when this something is already live for 4 or 5 years, in Android or so. But still, the market reacts pretty well, like to any changes. And probably, they always think different, right? So that's why they do not copy the market, and they still wait, like for the decisions, and the decisions are not quick. That's the strategy. Again, I'm not sure like if it will work in our current situation, like when like all the changes in half a year, there is something new. Like in a year, maybe there will be robots, like going around with LLMs, powered by LLMs. But I think still long-term strategy for Apple, will work. Currently they are just helping developers, helping people, like with some small tweaks, like with wallets things, creating infrastructure. So it's hard to be very positive, here, but still I believe they have a bright minds on board. I believe they struggle to keep up with all this like big infrastructure legacy systems in place. But anyway, let's see how it goes. Alex, I don't know, like,
let me change the angle of discussion and let's play a guess game. One of changes introduced in WWDC in technical keynotes, it's that now Apple will summarize using AI reviews for the app.
Yeah.
So when you open the application page, you will see summary of reviews. And why it's funny, because I know that a lot of apps that are nowadays even has a positive ratings. If you open reviews, and you'll see a lot of user complaining about subscriptions, about other things. So like, will Apple summarize it, or they will only use for summarization the positive comments? Or they would, for example, exclude any concerns about subscription and other things?
No, that's a good point. Yeah, from my perspective, they probably will post, like positive and negative. So let's say like top positive comments mention this and this, negative mention that and that. Because the same I see, like on Amazon or like on other websites now. So again, they're not creating something new. They see what works for others, and then after that introduce in the kind of two links. I don't know, Sam.
I guess that depends on perspective they want to, the benefit they want to have because of this update. So either they want to sell more because App Store is generate around maybe 20-30% of total revenue they have right now. I'm not sure, I can be not accurate, but it's so adding something on the app page, they want to force customers to download the app. So if we focus and we focus from that perspective, maybe they will make it more like sales point to download app. Or they can mention benefits, pros and cons, like they do regarding the privacy and app collection data. Also, they provide this data on the bottom. So, it depends on purposes they want to achieve adding this. I guess that's more a sales point for end customers rather than making clear for customers.
Or it would be like for apps who introduce their own payment system, it would be only negative summary, and for other only positive.
No, that's exactly, I think it definitely they would play with this on the kind of on their field. Actually, how many internal features do you have? Like in Apple with linked with Apple ecosystem, something like this.
Yeah. And like other interesting updates for like revenue is like accessibility tags. I have feelings that if like right now, for example, one of my use cases is like I supported iOS 15 in one of my apps. It's just because it was easy to do. But then I find out that iOS 15 generating quite much money comparing like to what it can do. And since there's some users who have iPhones that was blocked by this operation system, is finding you among other competitors who is not doing it. Because I also find out that most of my competitors is iOS 16 or higher. And accessibility labels can play also this role that now people who has these disabilities would search a lot of apps. And if your app is one who will put these tags, like more users, more organic users will download you. And if I get it correctly, they also introduce it to search engine. So people would be able to search like some apps that like do this accessibility feature. So it may even like bring you to top first, top second position in App Store for these groups of people, which increases scalability if it's cheap to integrate with some apps.
No, that's for sure. That's actually a good shout because introducing just tags in App Store definitely would evolve kind of marketers like tooling, and eventually they will be able to test everything, and also that the things that tags will be able, like any actually like accessibility, some other, will be able to direct customers to specific custom product page as well. So in App Store you can have multiple product pages related to different customer cohorts, let's say, and each particular tag will direct them to specific page. This is also cool, but it's quite funny, by the way, Alex, that you're talking about improving accessibility in iOS 26. Looking at the design, like we saw, probably everybody already saw so many memes about accessibility, like in this new design. So they probably try to leverage developers here, so okay, if our system is not accessible enough, so please guys do job for us. So it's just
by the way, Eugene, I'm quite positive in terms of the design, because I guess Apple will update all these bugs, and by the end of the day we have another new concept, another new era in design, and maybe in a year all websites, apps will be adapted in that way. I'm really optimistic about design, but I'm not optimistic about AI and other stuff they do right now.
About design, like I'm sure they will improve it. I saw the same as iOS 7, but
Exactly,
the problem with current design is that it's super energy efficient and not energy efficient. So it's like to render all this, there's a glass, and if there is another object even far from this glass button, the light of this button of this object is like reflecting this glass item, which is super complex from calculation perspective. And I don't know, we will see, but
yeah, exactly. We don't know what they will present in autumn.
Yeah, but I'm still scared that calculation of all these effects will still cost something. In a good scenario, it would be a tiny percentage, and we will not see it. But in bad scenario, it would mean you need a new iPhone to buy a new iPhone with more efficient processor, where we like made GPU 30% less energy consuming. So but at the same time, it's fresh look, so it may work. But as we start to speak about accessibility, also Eugene mentioned tags, which is also a new concept they're introducing. You could have tags and it will be easier to search you. They did a lot for discoverability. So first of all, they presented separate App Store screenshots for separate keywords. So if your app will be searched in App Store, not search ads, but even just in App Store with different keywords, you may introduce different screenshots. So if your app is like a chat bot application, if users search GPT, you may show a screenshot with GPT. If your user search Grok or DeepSeek, you may show first screenshot with Grok or DeepSeek name, which may even increase conversion in the first step on funnel. So like it's also, and I saw news today, I don't know how true they are, that they start indexing screenshots. So they start to use words from screenshots for search. So seems like we will see, but seems they're pushing a lot on discoverability of apps.
Yeah, that's true. Also, yeah, I think it's good, like, and they again quite like introduced a few changes, like for search optimization, like App Store search optimization, like auto indexing, like in Spotlight and Siri suggestions as well. Again, it's like if somebody still uses Siri, but I think there are many people, by this date, who still sticks with it. So smarter deep links as well. So it's actually it will be a better tracking. So you will see how it works. And some like AI generated, like screenshots and metadata suggestions. I mean, like it's a small thing, but like goods, like again for marketers, just for app developers. That saves time. So you will not need to go like to ChatGPT or Claude, any other LLMs, to do this stuff. So it will be directly integrated. But again, it's depends how it will work eventually, right? So like what would be the output? Maybe still, some of the folks will stick to the initial tools, but let's see how it works.
Let me change my site and add some positive thoughts about update. And what impressed me that the App Store update and Apple finally introduced important charts like ARR, MRR, and cohorts. And what they should do maybe 10 years ago when they introduced subscription in 2013, but finally they did that. But a lot of other updates in App Store, which can be really useful for end customers, because even in Qonversion, we calculate all this data for financial information. But anyway, Apple, Google, that's the main source of truth for your financial metrics. And you anyway need to compare your data with Apple. So that's why you need to make your final decision based on this data.
By the way, if you speak about update of App Store Connect, I think to see like one thing that catch my mind in their session is about benchmarks, and they now will show you benchmark on LTV and time to convert customer to paying among your categories. So I think it would be cool because it will help you to realize is your search ads is good, or like for example competitors has smaller LTV but somehow still bigger, so you need to push more on marketing. So in my opinion, this benchmark helping you like to realize if there's more problems in product or in marketing, which is very good for big companies.
Yeah, that's really beneficial for developers. And another big update, I don't remember, Alex, did you mention that or not? It's Xcode update with AI. So somehow they integrate ChatGPT and you can use it inside the Xcode.
Yeah, they presented like engine, so you could use any model exists on the market, even bring your own. So they provide kind of
Local model as well, yeah.
tooling for this and local model. And like some of like what I saw about this assistant, that it's quite nice. And what surprised me, because OpenAI introduced their own coding assistant just a month ago. So, but I don't think Apple built it in a month's time. So since Apple know it in advance and was investing resources, so like this is showing that in some teams, Apple still keeping with speed of the market.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that's probably the biggest, like one of the biggest leverage for Apple is actually to empower developers community. Like compared to Google, they still have probably like community that still like believe in them, and also they are kind of linked, right? Because iOS apps till this day generate more revenue, and quite many companies, many startups, at first they introduce iOS apps. So eventually, that's why kind of more and more developers try to leverage some new functionalities, new features, and do some kind of experiments with it. So it's cool that actually like Apple still driving forward this
So it
initiative.
looks like we all switched on positive side, yeah.
Yeah, probably. And it's actually just for the sake, actually, for those who are in London or around, I will post a link because I think on the 20th something, so in a week or in 2 weeks, there will be a WWDC recap in Battersea, so in Apple office, like with Apple developers, yes, for a few days, for a few hours, sorry. So yeah, I think if you are interested, just go there, request this.
Thanks.
I wanted to ask one question. I don't know if you guys like saw this update or not. I'm interested in like knowing your take on StoreKit and in-app purchase updates. Because if I understood that correctly, they will like increase control over refund logic. So that may be very like helpful, and not helpful. I mean, like our tool, the one that we are working on, might come in very handy. I'm talking about Refund Keeper. So just wanted to.
I can adjust my opinion about this perspective. What Apple do is just try to earn more from digital tools they have right now. So I know the strategic goal for them is to increase the digital revenue generated by digital tools like App Store, Apple Music, Apple TV, subscription, etc. And so refunds is just one way to increase this revenue. And so we had this opportunity to manage refunds by ourselves. I mean, developers could do that in Google, and so there is API for that purposes, and you can reject, cancel, and even do refund. And Apple just do the same and trying to move responsibility for refunds from their self to developers. So most developers want to reject as much refunds as they can, but while Apple did that in more appropriate way and more user-friendly way. So for end customers, I think these updates are not user-friendly. Yeah, but for developers, in terms of earning more money, it's really good.
Also very interesting is that they updated age rating system. So now you need to go through survey. That it will include questions about user-generated content, about chats, and so on. And then they will define age based on their vision, and also different for different locations. And it's also interesting topic because, for example, they want to treat user-generated content and something that is for like elder audience, which is I know most of user-generated content apps right now is 13 plus, and they would be 16 plus. So it would be interesting to see like how what will happen to this. Will they decrease age group, or these apps will stop introduce updates, or they will all increase their age rating, and some will not increase, probably will get more downloads. So for me, it's very interesting how this age rating thing will depend on the market, because now Apple will define what is your age for the app.
I do my best not be positive and just try to analyze just on right now financial statements Apple for Q2 and to understand how much they spend on team they have on this innovation. And I really don't want to be pessimistic because in life I'm really an optimistic guy, but when we spend our time to discuss some updates like tags, some minor updates on App Store page, like summary for reviews and so on. And when you see that Apple spent $100 million on team and on investments, and maybe they are working on something impressive. They will present later this year, maybe. And all these updates like models, Metal 4, liquid design is just preparation for this quite large update for in this long-term journey. And we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but last year when I watched on this competition between ChatGPT and sorry for this off top, and I'm moving our discussion in another way, but when I watched on this competition between ChatGPT and Google, I thought that Google totally lose the competition, but they somehow managed that totally, and now in the game, maybe the same thing will happen with Apple. So I'm going to be optimistic here.
Yeah, my joke didn't land, but I hope Sam you got it.
Yeah.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, again, let's see how it goes. They always think long term, and they spend a lot of money. See, like what is better for them, like as a company. Again, like this 10-year roadmaps. So yeah, it's always interesting to see.
By the way, another update is Metal 4. We didn't mention at all. And when Alex, you mentioned about liquid design efficiently, I think that's how Apple will achieve it. They did Metal 4 more efficient than it was in the past. With other updates, I mean APIs, AI models, I think these and games apps as well, it could be quite useful to build apps in this vertical. I mean, for vision and for games and etc.
Well, it seems like we've run out of things to discuss. Or does anyone want? Huh?
We were very positive already, so like it's hard to remain positive for so long,
Yeah. I think like the biggest achievement that we've made today is that Sam turned into a positive person after being negative. So on that positive note, I guess we can wrap things up, right? And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has joined us today, and to you guys, thank you for sharing your thoughts. It was like very interesting for me, especially to hear different takes very multifaceted takes on these questions and new updates. And thank you all the viewers who has come today. We'll see you on our next events. So with that said, I guess we can say goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Guy. Thanks for these friendly talks. It really was funny, and thank you. I was happy
Thank
to see
you.
you. Yeah.
Happy to see you all. Nice. See you, Eugene.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Right.
Bye.